I'd had this business loan, and it's been through different manufacturers, hearing aid manufacturers. At one time, 09, I think it was like $235,000. And in July of 09, sorry, June of 2021, it's about $21,000. And so I think I was making a $1,900 a month payment, something like that, right? And God goes, I want you to pay it off. And I'm like, yeah, but NESARA's gonna pay it off. Scott, I want you to pay it off. Oh, I argued with him for like a week and a half. I didn't sleep that week. I barely sleep anyway. I don't sleep more than 4 or 5 hours a night. But I'm arguing with God. And he goes, I want you to pay it off. But why would I pay off something that is going to be paid off? Why would I take money out of savings, the business savings, to pay this thing off? Because what I had to see is this. I'm going to erase this part here. What debt forgiveness is going to do for you, and I'm going to end up with this little point. What debt forgiveness is going to do is going to operate something. It's called the personality of liberty. Now, you also might call it freedom. This is the old terminology of liberty is really freedom, okay? Liberty means that you were free. You don't understand freedom. When the New Testament, Old Testament was written in the King James Version, they used the word in the 1611 King James Version. They used the term liberty when it talked about freedom. And so when we talk about the personality of this, when I did a deep study dive, and I spent years upon this actual term, and that personality, liberty, has everything to do with money and debt. When you're in debt, you're in slavery to these idiots. When you're in debt, you are controlled by that. You have no liberty. But when you're out of debt, and I've watched people operate outside of debt, even though they were in debt. So God asked me to kill a loan because He wanted me to understand what liberty was. And He wanted me to teach this to you. And I've been spending a lot of time on this. And so I had to have the pain of paying off $21,000 way before NESARA was supposed to happen. I thought NESARA was going to happen then, but it's wrong. And He wanted me to understand what liberty was getting after, what you can live within. And there was a lot of emotions that kind of came up. When you experience debt forgiveness, debt in scriptural terms equates to sin. I think the world, when they experience truth, debt forgiveness, taking away the cover, are going to operate in a debt forgiveness point. And they're going to go, wait a second. Now, some of them are going to think about getting back in debt. If you watch my videos, you're going to realize it's a bad idea. It's going to be harder to get out of debt in the NESARA era. It's a longer conversation I want to get into now. But the reality is, when you operate and you put this into the world, you are going to see a move of God in a way that you have never imagined. It's because when you put things, spiritual principles, businesses do this all the time. sales organizations come up with a concept. And they talk about, like, one of the powerful things in sales operations, they would say, listen, ask the questions. Ask questions. They don't, every time you try to answer the questions, the customer walks in and asks a question, like, well, how much is the car? Well, when does it do this? When does it do that? And the salesperson's answering all the questions. The sales manager's over there screaming like, oh my God, stop answering all the questions. Start asking questions. Because what questions do is put you in control. And this is the kind of thing. Where did they get that idea? Do you know where they get it? Jesus did it for you. It is a biblical principle. The Pharisees ask a question. And they basically set this up. Okay, Jesus, a woman gets married to a guy, he dies. Then she gets married to another dude, he dies. Gets married to another dude, he dies. And she gets to heaven. Which one of the brothers is she married to? And Jesus like never answers the questions. He does it like 2 or 3 times. This is not just the only time. He goes, I'll answer that question, you answer this. Or he says, you're not even getting what you say. And he basically says, you don't get what you're saying here. He's not married to any one of them. And he answers the questions in such a different way. Other times he just says, answer me this. Or as we would say in modern terminology, riddle me this. Like, So when we utilize biblical principles, I mean, they like operate so well in marketing and in sales, management, all of these business concepts. And they operate in philosophy. I mean, so many ways. But when we put this into the world, a debt forgiveness thing into the world, you're going to see people coming to Jesus because they're going to realize that their sin needs to be out of their life. And you're going to see the greatest move of God. That's why when people talk about the Great Awakening versus the Great Reset, it's the wrong thing. I have a whole video series you can kind of look up. This is about NESARA versus Great Reset. This is about debt forgiveness. It's going to lead the people in ways you just simply can't imagine. I know I went on kind of a rant there, but I'm telling you, when you see what the EBS is trying to do, deal with COVID, deal with crimes against humanity, because you got to show the child trafficking. Because when you see this, I don't care who you are, left wing, right wing, wearing blue hair because you teacher and you have all the liberal principles, the libs of TikTok. There's a real interesting kind of videos they do and they make fun of them all the time. I don't care who you are. But when you see the child trafficking, and by the way, it's so fascinating that you got trannies out there and they're dancing in front of babies, little kids. And the world's going, that ain't okay. And you got idiots who, the 4 to 6%ers over that I was talking about here before, who allow that. When you see the real child trafficking, you're going to realize, I mean, the pendulum is going to swing so hard over that these people are going to go underground. They're going to, I mean, not in a good way, in a bad way. They're going to get shut up. Now, some of them are going to jail, but the other ones of them just pushing out their idiotic philosophies are going to shut up because they have no idea what it means to do this. This was the control of the systems. And you have to fix these same things. Then you can fix the rest of it. I mean, you can go in and fix that, but you have a role of this. You are the senators, the mayors, the city council. You're the teachers. You're the Bible study leaders. There's a couple, Randy, and I'm blanking her name out, Rebecca, I think it is. Please forgive me. They're in California. And they called me up and they were like, we want to do this fire pit, and they have this place in the fire pit in the backyard, and we want to do hot dogs or something like that. I don't remember what she said. And we want to do this and preach the gospel, and because the church is not doing it. And is there any training? And I'm like, and so I talked to them enough, and I knew that they're really strong believers. I'm like, there ain't no training for that. You're getting trained by the Holy Spirit to do this. Go! I just got called up by, last night, emailed by, on my Telegram channel, guys got like in a city just close to us in Tulsa, is Broken Arrow, and the guy goes, we have 30, 40 people that come in. Sometimes you get 80 people. Would you come and talk to us, like in person? He goes, do you do that? I'm like, yeah, I love it. And actually, this message comes a little bit from what I prayed over this morning. I was up at 5 in the morning and I was going until 6:30 and then got ready and then came in here and now I'm finishing this message with you guys. This stuff comes out of prayer. It comes out of understanding what's going on in the world, and this stuff is going to get addressed. Then you can again address that and you become the leaders. You're like the horse in the the metal cage, and she is like ready to run, and she's pushing at the cage to get out onto the racetrack. The world's sitting over there going, what we doing? We're screwing around. To use an example, they're sitting over here with a little chair going, what's happening? You're over there ready to run, and when you're running, you're going to be the leaders. They're going to be out to lunch, shoved to the side in essence, okay? Activate. It's time to activate. Know what we're talking about, know what we're getting into, but I hope that you can actually represent some of this message too, because it's there for you. So thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. You can go look at Dr. Scott Young to go see some of the stuff. Revelations of the Red Pill. It'll help you out.